Back. What happened?
The longsword couldn't be any easier to use if the monsters you were fighting had frenzy cancer and were on life support. That's why you said what everyone else was thinking. Your reach is so far out there, it could be mistaken for a flat earth theory. And your swing arcs are so all over the place and so fast, like some kind of sword and shield wannabe, it turns the game into a cakewalk, like picking Bayonetta. This is a weeb weapon, perfect for anyone
Weeb weapon, I love those.
online and wants to animate it up. The most anime move being the Helmbreaker, where you launch yourself up the monster, slashing down and causing residual explosions after the initial cut. I have no idea why it does this, but if I had to guess, it's by the power of pure weave seeping into the monster, causing cringe damage. The other anime move is the foresight slash, a stance that counters any attack that comes your way. And because I'm so good at Monster Hunter, I don't feel the need to show you all the footage of the myriad of times I was able to pull it off, because I totally did pull it off every time I used it. Stop asking so many questions. However, there is a catch to these moves, and that's the reliance on your spirit gauge, like a princess relies on their parent to bring them to that upcoming anime convention full of nymph nerds. You fill it up by doing normal attacks and expend it by pressing R2, chaining together wide flashy swings that cannot bounce no matter how tough the hide of the monster. As if this weapon wasn't easy enough already. You finish it off with a roundhouse slash, increasing your damage to a maximum of 3 levels, and pose for the camera while dramatically sheathing your weapon. Seriously, what the hell is it with anime and sheathing swords? Your job as the longsword is to be an annoying little shit and interrupt everybody's attacks with your giant ass swing arcs. It's okay though, because you're at the top of the tier list and everybody only hates you because of how good you are. And definitely not because of how you jumped on the bandwagon because you saw it at the top of the tier list like picking Bayonetta. And now you know how to use the longsword. You're welcome. You finish it off with a roundhouse slash, which each... You finish it off with a roundhouse slash, which each... Capable of choosing something unique even when they're given options like playing as a Cobalt Paladin who prays to asteroids. Fighter-Man, Fighter-Man, overall he is fairly bland. Hit some stuff, hit some more. Outside combat is quite a bore. Look out, he's a Fighter-Man. Gee, I wonder what it does. It's a goddamn mystery. Who knows? I'll say it because nobody else will. If you pick fighter, odds are you're also likely to pick human because you're basic like that. And that's not just me saying that, it's science. Human fighters pop out of the woodwork like rabbits on Viagra because people are incapable of choosing something unique even when they're given options like playing as a Cobalt Paladin who prays to asteroids just before they crush an unfortunate man's cabbage cart. Just look at me, for example, artistic phenomenon and originator of the satirical talk fast genre of videos. What do you mean I'm not the first one to come up with the idea? I don't need these lies coming out of you. Everything I make is completely original and everybody knows it. Come on, Master Chief, let's get the fuck out of here. Fighters are the purest essence of the combat side of D&D, all about hitting things hard and fast, getting into the thick of the fight, and hey, you get out of here, we're not talking about you. They're all focused around rolling more dice than a Limp Bizkit song, as well as being straight up easy peasy mode, because you get to start using any weapon you want, heavy armor, some ranged options, a free cheesecake, and a complimentary belly rub just for picking the class. Seriously, everything about it is geared towards being so noob-friendly, even a Monster Hunter longsword player will be laughing at you. If you feel so inclined during combat, you can heal yourself, attack twice, and take a second action to attack twice again, all in the same turn. And that's at 5th level. Not to mention, you getting more ability score increases than any other class means that if you go a turn without hitting at least something, then you must have made some kind of D&D sin that angered Gary Gygax, like getting weighted dice or putting milk in before your cereal. Fighter flavors allow you to pick how you want to be hitting the bad guys, like being a magic bitch that can actually take a hit, or ride a bitch while you cut down a fool, or go all out sensei mode and just decide you want advantage for every attack this turn, so you're going to absolutely destroy a bitch. But odds are, knowing most fighters out there, champion is the best bet because it's basic. Yo, we heard you like fighter, so we put more fighter in your fighter. Just be sure to make your character a rough and grizzle-faced middle-aged street white man with a two-headed sword and a mysterious and or tragic and or vengeful backstory just to fit the bill. Don't want to get too greedy, no dude. But now you know you're a fighter, you're welcome.
Like two, like something like thank God, like God bless it, yes. God bless the fire. Two of them. A pod. Oh. Oh, it used to be an old attribute in old editions, but then they gave everyone that army that rule.
Yeah.
So,
I want to get Imperial Fist yesterday.
Imperial Fist?
Sound rather odd, but sometimes the best in the squad is the one with the cross who can smite with cross, but punish you like God. Even ogres will flee. Passive crush things with glee. Some think they're not strong, and those people
Automatic,
all,
automatic.
welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Culture drill.
Our Necrons automatic yet, or
I would 3 up. My stats are fear 3/3/3s.
The support is someone everyone wants on their team, but nobody wants to be. Lucky for you, the cleric is like a support
But
that
all my
decided
guns
to
have
buy a
18.
taser after
That's
being
one
too fed
buff
up
they
with being
gave us
told to
since
heal
they
the
took away
barbarian who ran into a
they took away the
1v20
Necrons gun,
encounter.
put
Players
everything
are the
makes sure
religious
that
fans
every
of the
army
D&D
get a
world that are so
signature
crazy
page.
into their deities
Regardless.
that they've turned their fangirling power
Now
into something
it's,
that can actually pack a
so we
punch,
took this
having
away
the
from
same
everybody.
armor
Every gun
proficiencies as a
aimed
fighter
P.
and the self-sustaining capabilities of a paladin that's
These
been
are
juicing
ones.
with
Well,
unicorn
these are
roots and
twos.
dragonborn acid. They had so many
Three.
teeth-grindingly infuriating spells at their disposal. On top of
Look at
all that dungeon masters all over the world universally agree to ban clerics from the game so as to not make encounters absolute nightmares to get proper challenge without throwing approximately 20 black dragons at one cleric alone to keep it balanced. Spells like Flash Gordon, Buddy Cop Weapon, and Does My Hand Smell Bad to You are so stupidly strong at such a low level it's easy to forget why so many uncultured swine consider the cleric a designated healer. Anyone who does has either never played the class or considered the sword and shield a viable weapon in Monster Hunter. Unlike most other classes, you pick your archetype at first level.
Now there's no arc, he's
Oodles,
like,
canoodles, and toaster strudels to choose from. To summarize, you have heel bitch, nerd, sunburn, and my ass, nobody dies, nobody cares, and a couple of more that I'm too lazy to mention. Seriously, with how versatile and independently strong you can build a cleric, you can make up an entire party full of purely priests, call it the Amen, and bust down Tiamat's door demanding her lunch money. And she would just build her own toilet to give herself swirlies so she wouldn't have to endure the kind of bullying you're about to give her. Channel Divinity gives you special limited use effects depending on your domain. It can be as dumb as turn undead, where the power of the gods can make a zombie run away from you like it's regained its ability to smell and realizes you've been sleeping with your Jesus blanket and you've been flushed in months.
Got it.
Useful as guiding strike where you can shoot
two of these
that 10
archers
million points
together
in your
and
attack
one
roll so you'll be
cannon
able
in
to
the
swap one
center.
fly with another fly's
Let's
deuce
go.
being whipped around on a string like a yo-yo strung around your pinky toe while blindfolded. The
bigger
only downside
one
is that you
with
get a
more
pitiful
damage.
amount of uses like a
Like,
gym 2 weeks
damage
after
over
New
there.
Year's. And
You're
finally, the most
supposed to
notable
put
trait of the
them
cleric
on
is divine
top.
intervention, where if
Any
you were a
mod
good boy
that
or
put the
girl
same
all year,
pylons
happy
and the
thoughts and
bigger
burning down
pylons
dank
around
holy
it as a
kush. If you worship on a
and the
star, the
whole
clouds
thing
in the heavens will
boots.
part and the
The
literal
whole tile
gods will
included.
stop
So
playing their game of Jenga to
do the
fix
more.
whatever nonsense you and your party have gotten
It's not a
into.
stationary
And then
tile.
avoid
You're
you for
like,
some days
okay, hold
spending
on, I
whether or
have
not to
magnets
write
on
you a
everything.
whole
Here's
new
my
string
hand
to
of
go
blocks.
after seeing you pissed your pants fangirling over your religious senpai noticing
There's
you.
old
And now you know how to play
I
cleric.
shoot you
Amen.
underneath this.
And also everything is conversation inside of it.
Ridiculously. Ugh. It's too much.
Just for having the monolith there.
So like I meant for Necron Invasion World scheme, that's gonna be a good face on the board.
Yeah.
Alright, first
Just
team.
play a
number
fighter with a
shots.
bow, it's way better. Alright, fine, I'll talk about the class. Ranger is the other of the bisexual style of classes, where it likes fighter, but it also likes druid, and flips between the two depending on which one looks cuter at the moment. Hell, it even steals a few things from rogue because it's so indecisive. And despite the name Ranger, you're not actually restricted to use any sort of ranged weapon in order to be effective. As far as combat goes, you get the usual fighter, but not really fighter set of features. Fighting style, all weapons, extra attack, spell casting, D10, hit die, hate Macarena. For rogues, it steals the ability to channel your inner chameleon and blend into the environment. Except instead of hiding in the shadows and watching where you step, it's more like putting on makeup, so you need to take some time, have a good look in the mirror, maybe look up some tutorials while you're at it, then start over when you realize you were using the wrong shade of foundation. From druid, it steals some of that being one with nature flavor it's got going on, and a whole lot of spells, but not without a few exclusive spells of its own, like having a target explode a bunch of thorns when hit with a ranged attack, plant arrows in the ground and turn them into proximity-based fireworks, except the gunpowder is magic and the lights are bits of enemy remains, and single-handedly the objectively best ranger spell, Swift Quiver. Not for the unlimited ammo, that's dumb, nobody keeps track of their arrows anyway, but because it turns your ranged weapon into a rapid-fire machine gun. But Joseph, you said you don't need to use a ranged weapon to be effective as a ranger. Those all sound like ranged weapon exclusive spells. That may be true, however.
Bill.
Anyway, when it comes to actual unique ranger features, you can use the power of racism to decide what kind of creatures you're going to perform extra potent hate crimes on, and preferred terrain, where you can pick your favorite environment, and after trotting around picking flowers or litter, depending on what it is, you can become a fantasy Bear Grylls, which is basically real-life Bear Grylls, except with the Cobalt crew filming you instead. And if you worry that that sounds too situational, and that if you picked a forest terrain and the entire campaign took place in the snowy mountains would mean the feature would be more useless than a football player who got tapped on the shoulder and started clutching their knees crying in the fetal position, don't worry, you're right, and it is. What isn't situational is just about everything else involving the environment. You can sense when kids are trespassing on your lawn and then not have to worry about the weeds that might otherwise slow you down from catching them and giving them a good weapon. When it comes to flavors of the no really trust us, you can totally use melee and still be a useful class. You have Pokemon Trainer with a gun, like rogues but even dodgier, literally a monster hunter, thinking with paws and pew, 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 pew. Alright, let's address the beholder in the room. The vanilla incarnation of the Ranger has a reputation of being less useful when compared to the other classes due to questionable abilities and how they function. That's not to say the class can't be useful or powerful in the right circumstances, but some consider the Ranger situational and sometimes underpowered features to leave something to be desired. However, there's nothing wrong about talking to your DM about changing how certain skills work, if that happens to be the case, so maybe you can have more fun at your role-playing table. But you know not how many numbers you can do to the bad guys, but whether or not you can shoot spikes out of the ground while firing bolts from your heavy crossbow atop a feathered velociraptor. And now you know how to play Ranger. You're welcome.
Alright, only ones we have the morale word about is the front squadron.
Boy, I love the smell of justice in the morning. There's nothing more satisfying than knowing the good name of Sword and Shield has traveled so far and wide that not even the Pokemon games are free from their incredible, awesome influence. And it's about time, too. You think I created this series to entertain and inform ignorant whelps of great hobbies their miserable lives are missing out on? Fuck no, it was to enforce the mighty name of the one true weapon pairing that triumphs all others. And if anyone were to step out of line, I'd bring down the wave in which terror-ass children tell their parents to scare them before bedtime, and then collect the aftermath of the pants they all shit because it makes for great fertilizer. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Two more against my man with a free left of this another re-enhance. Just give me all real ones. I
Do you want to
need
fight?
it.
Do you want a class that'll instill fright? Take up some plate and keep the goblins inside. Because you want to make sure they use Paladin. The Paladin is the first on a short list of hybrid-style classes, stealing a mix of features from both the fighter and the cleric. It's better at physically painting the walls with blood than a cleric, but more gooder at grammar and spelling than a fighter. But it's also one of the few classes where somewhat important.
Wow.
In my role-playing game, they really should have put some kind of rule somewhere. I'm not submitting to this shit. If I wanted to follow some sort of code, I'd become a pirate so that I could at least plunder some booty while I'm at it. Otherwise, fuck you guys. If you want me to play your game of ethics, you can kiss my shit and plain mail.
From the melee
Fine,
squad.
just follow the code and don't do anything stupid that'll cause you to lose your paladin privileges like a spoiled rich kid who's upset that he doesn't get a fourth Maserati to crash. But yeah, they're all up in your grill-style physical fighting classes. You get proficiency with every goddamn combat-oriented item in the universe. And yes, that does technically mean that you can optimally play a paladin without a shield and not have to worry about being a lesser
I thought I had it in my truck.
to your party. But
I went in for weed.
I hate you and your big smelly doo-doo head. As a resident big fuck all 3 years of yes, or whatever other wacky power that you want with them. Have everything else die while they bounce off of your full frontal crusade like a turd in the wind. That's true for just about every combat-focused class, but the paladin is especially good at it, what with having the aforementioned fighter-cleric combo skill set. You get multiple attacks, channel divinity, a free vaccination, casting abilities, more auras than that one silly anime that nobody likes, which means you'll be so jacked that your mere presence will muscleify any nearby allies so that they look like a typical character from said silly anime that nobody likes. And lay on hands, a pool of health you can use to heal yourself or give a single hit point to your ally because that's all they deserve for not letting the rogue check the obviously booby-trapped room first. But we all know the real reason anyone picks Paladin, and that's to never cast any actual spells, but instead use your spell slots to imbue your weapon with various flavors of slime. Because what good is striking down the heretics and heathens of the realm if it's not in the elemental attacking equivalent of your god sports team colors? Smite with fire, laser pointers, brain freezes, sick bassy drops, and cheese for everyone! Sorry, I meant force. Force is what it says. What is this, a dog game? Now you know how to play. Wait a minute, what the hell is that noise?
Diesel, what the fuck?
Hey you sitting there with your saggy butt cheeks and emotionless expression. I know what you're thinking. Boy, I wish I could cast spells, but all I got is an expendable firstborn child and a willingness to work under a questionably immoral arcane master till the end of time. Well, that's just the exact sort of motivation we like for our employees at EDB Incorporated. And if you sign up with us, we'll be sure you're treated in a way that you deserve for assisting in furthering our goals to bring about the ruin of the entire multiverse. All I need you to do is sign here and agree to give us But on the bright side, we have dental. Welcome to a
How's that a bright side?
So you want to use magic, but only as much as you want to hug that one family member you keep seeing at reunions, but aren't quite sure how you're related to them. You want to be a warlock, the fake gamers of the Forgotten Realms. How warlocks differ from the other casters is that the amount of times you can cast your spells before running out of spell slots is absolute shit. Instead of having a set number of spells for each level of spell slot, you get a maximum of 4 spell slots for all your spells up to 5th level, and that's it. And a few other ones, but nobody cares about those. The flip side is that the spells you cast are always at their max level, and instead of having to take a long rest to get those slots back, all you need is an hour to have a wank, have a biscuit, and you're back on your feet. But you know what? Fuck real spells. You may think you're a caster, but only picking this class is purely an excuse to do nothing but cast everyone's favorite cantrip, Eldritch. You can cast it at weddings, funerals, beach parties, or you can just cast it randomly because the parties take you 5 hours to buy a single dagger from the shopkeeper and you're bored. Aside from casting nothing but Eldritch all day, the main draw of the Warlock is the fact that it's the greatest game of dress-up dolls of all time. Eldritch invocations allow you to custom tailor your Warlock so that it suits you better than my form-fit Kieran assless chaps. You can talk to animals without needing to cast a spell, go straight up invisible whenever you want, but most importantly, there are invocations that allow you to customize your Eldritch so that whenever you shoot your gobbledygook at whatever scorpion impression, snipe them from 2 blocks away, or make the beam of arcane destruction smell like strawberries if you like. But it's not all fun and eldritch because remember, you've signed a pact with a patron, so your power is being loaned to you from an all-powerful arcane sugar daddy. So you will have to pay interest if you want to make sure all that magic stays nicely tucked into your eldritch sack. Luckily, they're not like bank loans because you can actually pay them off, and they're not always inherently evil. You have the choice of being bossed around by a literal devil who decided to make you your favorite person, so they're going to be your mommy for a little bit. A skeleton who ironically refuses to let you die because you still owe him 2 platinum. Fairies who are just straight up assholes. Gods, so you're basically a player now. Literally Cthulhu. But forget all those because the only real option is to have your patron be a magically possessed sentient sword and shield that yells fuck when you swing it. Basically, you have such a huge amount of options to choose from with how you build your warlock. It's very unlikely any 2 warlocks will be the same. So get your shopping baskets, light some candles, have fun customizing. Oh, and remember, you have to sacrifice 3 more babies by the end of the week or you're fired. And now you know how to play warlock. You're
2 hits. 2 wounds. If he can't save.
Ow, fuck.
impressive, you know? I mean, I've never had a student score 0 in everything before. What do you mean? I chose exactly the perfect spell for every situation. Well, you answered fireball for every question. What's your point, person within fireball distance? What I mean is you can't expect a big damaging area of effect spell to be the answer for everything. Maybe try some different spells, maybe minor illusion to trick the enemy. You can find a fey or a fiend to serve as your familiar, or even prestidigitation. It has a surprising amount of uses, even though it costs nothing. I'm about to prestidigitate all over your desk if you keep suggesting lame spells. All I'm saying is you should
I'm
expand
going to
your
follow you
horizons.
walking through the terrain with a 24-inch gun that says,
The ultimate utility caster, and one of these days you're gonna find yourself in an encounter where fireball isn't gonna. Where'd he go? What the fuck? Welcome to Crap Guy to D&D.
What?
The mage? Fireball.
The classic, the OG, the frail old man with a stick that shoots magic missiles at a few goblins and then has to go door to door telling his neighbors he's a registered hex offender. The wizard is the most powerful class if you ignore any other classes that are stronger, which are all of them, because this thing is more fragile than a single layered sheet of toilet paper that's been soaking in the soggy crack of the bridge troll's ass cheeks. This class is the sorcerer's lamer, more studious, dorky neighbor who does all the hard work for none of the recognition. You get saving throws and intelligence and wisdom instead of constitution and charisma, so sure you'll be able to ace that pop quiz and not have to worry about being distracted, but you won't be able to hold your liquor or score any hot dates at Chad Firebolt's party in the Golden Mansion his chromatic dragon dad bought him. If you're looking for the silver lining, the wizard is definitely the heaviest case of be careful who you call ugly in magic school. The wizard's spell list is thicker than the Storm King's thunder thighs. You gain spell slots like a shower drain gets hair, and during a short rest you can even choose a small amount of spell slots to recover depending on your level. Best of all, at higher levels you even get the ability to cast your favorite low-level spells as many times as you like. But who are we kidding? You're likely going to be dead before you reach that high, either killed by your own fireballs or killed by all your pissed off allies who are caught in your own fireballs. Hold your horses there, mister. I actually believe wizard memes are as funny in the game as they are on social media. All your spells are tied to your spellbook because wizards have short-term memory loss, and unless it's a cantrip, you can only cast a spell if you have a 3-step tutorial with pictures to color. But the work doesn't just stop there. The stronger spells at higher levels are going to need expensive magical components to cast them if you don't want to embarrass yourself with arcanal dysfunction and suddenly your finger of death feels more like a finger of mild discomfort. People say wizards are the utility casters because of the massive amount of spells at their disposal, many of which are apparently great for a wide range of situations. I'm here to smartly inform you that those people are stupid. Use fireball and only fireball. Nothing but fireball. Just fireball. Just fireball. Just fireball. Because they are the nerds of D&D. Wizards have an unhealthy amount of knowledge of all the different schools of magic. So instead of having their archetypes based around a certain theme, they get one for each of the applicable schools of magic, which is too damn many to go over. And frankly, I don't have the time or gummy bears to last a whole lecture. Instead, I'm going to quickly summarize each school of magic and also war magic as fun. And I'm going to do it all. Song! Evocation elements to burn or shock or freeze your friends. Necromancy spares the dying, or you could just resurrect them. Abjuration keeps you safe and almost makes your armor fair. Divination helps you sense detect talk to bears. Conjuration, portals and make stuff for free. Transmutation, turn things into other things. With enchantment, buff and buff or in between. And delusion, visual tricks to prank the brain with fear and silence. Blur and go invisible. Pretend you're someone else's dad disguised as PTR. Or magic is like tank mage, getting lots of defense, flexing as you cast. And now you know how to play wizard. You're welcome. Hi, I just wanted to take a sec for more people to notice and understand this disclaimer. Most important in this part, I don't actually want to upset anybody. It's all part of the game, and I hope everyone keeps that. We good? Okay. Everybody likes personality quizzes, right? See what's your spirit animal, how burnt of a toast toasted slice of bread you are, what's your worst trait as an employee based on the brand of cereal you like to buy. They're great because most of the time, if you don't like what the quiz results give you, you can look up which answers contribute to what result and just get the one that you wanted in the first place and then brag about it on social media. Wow, would you look at that? I'm such a Slytherin because I'm so cunning, right? Yeah, well, joke's on you. That was all an intelligent ruse. I'm actually a Ravenclaw. Or am I? Same with star signs. They're just vague enough that they can boil down to thoughtful individual who sometimes overthinks things and can be impulsive, but in the end of the day wants to do the best that he can for the people he cares about while settling for the worst possible outcome. And I could say I just described a Libra and they'd eat that shit up like they're a pet that just found some stray cardboard. Luckily, Dungeons and Dragons doesn't have any of that dumb personality shit that nerds argue about for hours on the internet in hopes to totally prove the other side with facts and logic or anything. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Oh, do you know how you want destroyers are? Yeah, you want destroyers. All my destroyers come back next house.
An old relic of the past and the easiest way to start fights both on and offline, the D&D alignment chart is its version of a personality quiz that no one can agree on. You've likely seen this tic-tac-toe board being used with pop culture characters being placed in each segment, giving a vague idea of what each of them means. But then all it takes is for you to put someone in the wrong place and then everyone starts throwing fists as if they had just found out that you used their facial hair razor to shave your butthole. Remember, characters can only be one alignment forever and must only ever do things considered to be that alignment because thinking about character depth and development is hard, and when people disagree with me, I take it as a personal attack. More importantly, as a player, you get to say what your character's alignment is, and no one can ever debate that you're not playing that alignment because you know your character better than they do, and they're just jealous and wish their scrubby sheep was as cool as yours, so they can suck fat nards. Small smooth brains think lawful means the literal sense as in following the law, but instead what it really means is having a strict set of rules, whether it be moral, legal, or because your boss is telling you to do it. It's one of the most predictable alignments. 99% of the time when a lawful character sets out to do something through a promise or obligation, they actually follow through, which is why they make great fitness instructors, because when they say they're not going to fuck your mom, they actually don't fuck your mom. A lawful good act is keeping the promise because it's the right thing to do. A lawful neutral keeps the promise because it is a promise and they're going to stick by it even if fucking your mom saves the universe. And a lawful evil keeps the promise because they're going to fuck your dad instead since you technically didn't say anything about him. Personally, the chaotic side of the chart are for characters who don't give a fuck about their integrity and do whatever the hell they want because they feel like it. Small smooth brains will use this alignment as an excuse to be a total wangrod and have an inconsistent character with no definable traits. Also known as the chaotic alignment's more recognizable cousin, the stupid alignment, with its constant wacky, lol, so random XD approach to playing their character. The most common examples of chaotic acts are lying, cheating, and stealing, aka part of a rogue's balanced breakfast. A chaotic good is stealing from the rich and giving to the less fortunate. A chaotic neutral cheats to win a tournament and uses the winnings to eat something aside from a bread sandwich every night. And a chaotic evil will lie about not fucking your dad again and burst into his bedroom as soon as you blink like a really slutty weeping angel.
I got it.
The good and evil sides of the alignment chart are pretty straightforward. Good is if you're a good person and evil if you're a jackass. But that's a small smooth brain surface level understanding of good and evil, as in no, just because you don't stab people doesn't mean not stabbing them is a good act just because stabbing them is a lot easier. Good acts are ones that go out of the character's way to do good and help others, sometimes even to the good person's detriment, and oftentimes even if there's no promise of any sort of reward in return for the act, like using your own hand to get a friend's favorite Lego set out of the toilet even after a night of really spicy curry. In contrast, evil is pretty straightforward, i.e. actions that could actively harm people or not caring about how those actions could knowingly harm people. An evil act would be being the person who threw the Lego set into the toilet, knowing full well it would be somebody's favorite. But good and evil doesn't just mean motives, it means methods too, and just because you have nice ends doesn't mean having mean means makes it any less mean. Example, you've caught a kidnapper and need to find out where they're hiding their captive so you can save them. A good act could be offering some snacks and a binge watch of their favorite show in return for information, whereas an evil act would be chopping their nipples off. The neutral cross of the alignment chart is for players who are terrified of commitment and refers to acts that either don't fall on either side of the good, evil, or lawful, chaotic side of the spectrum, or characters that are horse for choice and like to do whatever tickles their pickle the most, depending on the situation. Maybe they'll be employee of the month for one boss and then shit on the desk of their next. Basically, the neutral ends of the alignment chart are the most pure and concentrated, like the curvature of my butt cheeks, and do basically anything and everything that could be considered the essence of that side of the chart. And of course, the middle ground, true neutral, aka the one that's always playing devil's advocate for literally everything, like they spend 10 hours a day discussing opinions on Reddit. And there you have it, the totally accurate, totally objective descriptions for each side of the alignment chart with no room for any other interpretations whatsoever. And if anyone tries to argue otherwise, they can suck fat nards. Also, never let players pick their own alignment, because when they do, it actually looks like this. But that's totally because I'm such a Gemini, and we don't think people are self-aware enough to be able to categorize themselves without being subconsciously influenced by their own personal biases. And now you know how to use alignment. You're welcome.
Just say, wow. Shoot again.
So, letting you know, this list is not very, like, hardcore at all. Matter of fact, I'm doing about this list in order to let you play campaigns. The only thing scary inclusive is
Well, yes, but actually, no. That one's garbage. It's shit. It's poopy doopy. It's some updated and polished like a live service game 2 minutes after release. I've gained a whopping 1 additional point in my intelligence since then, and I'm now superior in every way. Smarter, stronger, more wiggly than ever before. And this is the only one I'm doing, so don't hold your breath for the others. They're perfect forever. So let's start from the top. D&D is for dorks, what with all the complex words and math. It's packed to the brim with a bunch of mechanics and systems, and nobody has the time to read because they're too busy not playing D&D. No worries, you third-string athlete who occasionally looks at their old high school pictures and then reflects in the mirror wondering what happened. Lucky for you, I have a class that'll need as much brain power as varsity had to use on their midterms. And all you gotta do is learn how to throw a tiny plastic icosahedron just like how you threw every single game coach put you into. Welcome to Crap Guide to D&D.
The way somebody is actually running your dude can be fun for me.
Everybody likes to hit things, and D&D is the best because you can literally hit anything you want, including the other players. And what better class to hit everything than the barbarian, who's the best at hitting things and never stopping hitting things. Having a D12 hit die means you have around a googolplex of hit points by level 2, and unarmored defense means the chunkier you are, the better you can block and avoid attacks because the enemy is too distracted and how your fat hairy tits are flailing about. Better yet, you have spider sense, which allows you to avoid traps, spells, social events, and laundry, like you've just moved out of your parents' house and are trying to get your life together. But enough about defense. The real reason to play barbarian is to hit it very hard, going into a bloodthirsty
I might not even remember the music.
soon you can channel your anger into the might of 1,000 dads who just felt the thermostat get adjusted, and during your raging become the world's greatest combat. You gain bonus damage, advantage on strength checks, and any and all physical attacks will bounce off of your day 1 patch pecs. As you gain
I've
levels,
got
you get
also some
progressively
underground
angrier
in
and
my
angrier, getting a straight
software
up flat
program.
increase to your movement speed, an extra heavy swing when you crit, and become too angry to die potentially forever as long as you keep hitting things. As far as flavors of goes, there's the Berserker, if you want to swing your weapon like a stick to a ceiling fan, mistaking stupidity for bravery, and have an unlimited supply of Uno reverse cards. Alternatively, the Two Warriors like a gateway furry, where you channel your favorite Robin Hood crush and pretend everybody is Prince John. Battle Ranger can become a really pissed porcupine. Storm Herald if you want to make the environment around you as pissed as you are. Zealot if you want to be a diet paladin with a smite and aura that's made with 0 sugar. And Ancestral Guardian if you're a scared little bitch. Offense is the only offense, and I will have none of these tactics in my combat encounters. What, you thought I fingered my brain so I could think harder and waste time when all that planning fails because of a bad roll, and then I have to sit around being useless for the rest of the session? What do you take me for, some kind of wizard? Well, do you, huh? Fuck you, I'll beat the shit out of you. You think you're better than me just because you can count? I hope you like being payment lotion, because you're going to be filling all the cracks in my driveway. And now you know how to play Barbarian, you're welcome.
Artifacts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. They're all down.
Alright.
What's wrong, you pathetic, sad, procrastinating dungeon master? Can't come up with a worthwhile and interesting combat encounter, and you only have half an hour before the session because you spent the last week fascinating about a totally different campaign you wish to run one day, but ultimately know you never will because you're in a constant state of prep work and insecurity? That's okay. Everybody knows no matter how basic the combat is, it's going to take forever anyway thanks to any spellcasters and people on their phones, and is mostly just a chance for the DM to stall for time while they figure out the next story beats. That and an excuse to show them whatever art of the thing the players are fighting that the DM paid $3 grand in commissions or miniatures to make for them. Or you can just grab whatever the nearest thing on your shelf is and say, fuck it, we're fighting this little bastard today. Welcome to Crap Guide to D&D.
1, 2. 3.
Oh yeah, I'm actually under.
Goblins are one of the most iconic creatures in Dungeons & Dragons, famous for being low and mid-level cannon fodder, having the respawn rate of a seahorse playing Call of Duty, and being overall superior to kobolds in every way. Goblins are what you default to when you have no idea what the party should be fighting, because they're just so splattered all over the world that everyone just accepts that they can show up anywhere.
Okay. I have an achievement for Necrons. I kill a Titan melee.
Nice. I don't even know what the achievements are.
I don't know what the actual achievements are for the game.
God, Jesus.
It's just a joke because I can never kill super warriors in melee.
One
They
day
just
got really lazy
hack
and
down
decided
the
to make a
Titan.
generation of poor saps that they could shove all
Warriors
their
used to be
baggage
the only
onto
thing
and then blame
Marines could
for
hit
when the
first
economy they don't
in
have a say
7th
in gets
edition
destroyed.
because their
This is
initiative
sort of
was slower.
evolved into how
We
a tribes where the biggest asshole is the leader. And everybody
Hated
else is
Eldar
just
so
sort of
much in
used to
7th
being treated as
edition.
poorly as a
People,
retail
oh, I
worker.
played
That's not
Eldar.
to say
Okay,
all
cool.
goblins
I
are
want to
meek
fight
little green muppets. Given
like
enough
with my
size and
hands.
numbers and time to prepare an ambush,
You want to know what's funny?
most basic goblin squad
He
can turn
had
into
destroyers and he
the
lost to a
aftermath
penitent
of
engine.
meeting at White Castle. This is because goblins are a culture constantly raiding like they're trying to get world first and have a knack for throwing themselves at the first thing they see that looks like they could potentially bite its ear off. They're also somewhat smart. Leaders leaders of goblin tribes consistently placing first in tournaments of Connect 4, and the race as a whole frequently mounting and fighting alongside creatures such as wards, which are oversized wolves that are perpetually angry as people keep stealing their art off Instagram. If you ever decide to play as a goblin, you'll receive a little bit of dings and con from being agile and resilient little gremlins, and the ability to quickly pussy out of combat like you're at a friend's house and the parents started arguing, and Fury of the Small, where you get to punch below the belt and make the enemy's voice go up as many octaves as your player level. Now that's the general idea of what goblins are supposed to be in the Forgotten Realms, but this is D&D, which means everybody breaks the rules more than an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the fact that goblins are so adaptable to so many situations and environments means that there's no limit to how they can be portrayed or what they can be used for. You can have mindless monsters that fill the last few empty rooms of a dungeon, or scandalous goblins that they see them for, design them so unexpectedly attractive that it'll make people question if they've discovered a new fetish or if it was there all along and this was just its awakening. You too can throw an endless amount of XP at your player, leaving them conflicting feelings on stomping on an innocent
These are just change-sword bolt pistol guys, because I can roll melee use that.
Ow, son of a bitch, and now you know how to use goblins. Oh yeah! Oh yeah, crap got goblin plushie available and make sure
Well, it
for
doesn't
some
matter,
orders
like,
using
you'll
the
have
code JOECAT
melee
gets
guys
50%
running
off.
after you, you'll mitigate them. And see how you fare against guys coming at you.
Right.
Not something I would normally run. I'd usually, if I'm gonna run a melee unit, I'm gonna usually run berserkers, but I don't have any of them built here right now.
I wonder.
18.
That's good shitting.
So you picked your class, hold on to your ass, it's gonna get crass, cause race is part of the role you can play. Some sentient clay, a he or they, a beast who gets real snarly, a regular dude named Charlie. If homebrew is free, a big talking tree. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D. Arakakra, big fucking bird, you got some wings so you can fly, and if non-weapon melee's preferred, they get sharp talons to bit scratch a guy. Or maybe you're more of an Asimar, still avian.
But,
If you lower the bar, angelic people with radiant energy or darkness. If you flap your wings edgily. Bugbears aren't actually bears at all, more like beastly orcs and just as tall, but oddly sneaky and your arms are long, so you're really freaking good at playing basketball. But if going full beast is a little too far, you could always do half and decide to be a centaur, charging the enemies so they can readily get steadily backed up by you, stomping them deadly. First 8 months, change like screw, you make a disguise, get a worthless tool, you can change your face to whatever race, there's nearly no limit who you can fool. Dragonborn, no, not the Skyrim kind, but likely the kid of a bard that'll find dragons really hot, so now you shoot acid, or whatever other color your parents prefer acid. The typical dwarf with a beautiful beard, who work with your hands and are physically sturdy. You seem informed about rocks, which is weird, try not to obsess or the sex will get wordy. Elves are pompous pricks, a dozen flavors to match and mix, they live a long time, don't sleep in said trance, and are hard to be charmed, so bards keep it in your pants. Pick a fearbolg, a chill-ass cow, most of which have druidic vow, and don't ask how, but they can turn invisible, which is a big concern. Genasi, elemental genie bastards, one of 4 elements that they have mastered in some way, lets them do cool shit, like waterbend, or have a fire-breathing armpit. Githyanki and Githzerai, elves that look like they wanna die, all they're about is how they clash. Been around 40 years and their lore's still trash. Stack, gnome, happy short folk who are smart, wise, and cunning, and know how to crack. In the good camouflage, means sneaking or magic or cool roguish montage. Whack. If the goblin, small size hits hard on your noggin, their nimbleness makes it hard to keep pace, they'll hide and bide, quick slide and hit your face. Muscles are in, though I have bias, so the hottest IMO is Goliath. They're 8 feet tall, have steel for their balls, and can shrug off damage like one-man riots. Half-elves, the mutts and mules of D&D, have some points to spend on 2 abilities and skills out the asses of best both races, and backstories usually come from stupid places. Half-orc, like I said, muscles are in, you're a ruthless druid who fights to win, your crits get crits, and you can terrify, and if you feel like it, you can say no when you die. If your luck is nasty, the halfling's good, you re-roll ones and win like you should, and you're hard to scare, so go party with a dragon, and you can slip through if it's angry off the flag. And humans get a little bit of everything, they lack gimmicks or special flair or anything, and are all around average, you know how it is, and the perfect pick if you're boring. Races, all the races.
20.
There's plenty to choose from, too many, so come witness the list of this guide to all of the races. All the races. Hobgoblin. They trust in a code, be it God or communism or giant toad. They're a prideful chode, so whenever you fail, the more watch or retry means you go beast mode. If you're an edgy avian, Kenku sneaky, agile, crafty, and can easily lie. They can mimic voices to
what you got?
mute and
I'm
cheeky.
sorry.
Too bad they get bullied because they can't fly. Kobold is a mischievous one. They hate bright light, and there's often more than one. They can trick dumb fools and steal their jewels, but ganging up together can hurt. Scaly hours, because lizard folk have sticks up their ass and can't take a joke. They can bite and craft and stay a while underwater, and have hard-ass scales to block cannon fodder. Loxodon are straight-up elephants. They're large size and thick hide, make them dense. Got trunks to smell, and are wise and mostly merry, but piss one off and you'll see they're damn scary. Want to breathe underwater? Locat Ratha is a fish, a straight up fish, literally just a fish. Your armor starts high and get tons of resistance. Stay dry and you die, you're still just a fish. Big beastly bull is a minotaur. Got horns to charge if you run pretty far, make them shit their pants while you're at it. Being big and scary is a habit. Speaking of orcs, superstitious and strong, but also often wrong with a minus 2 to int. That's okay, so to say, you're aggressive and massive. Got angry parents means they're rarely passive. Cat girls rejoice, Tabaxi's here, obsessed with stuff and quite the sightseer. Fast like a cat, get claws and climb far. Tons of coats like leopard, tiger, and jaguar. Tiefling's a demon with a lot of looks. They're horny and hot and often a provoker in the lore anyway. A lot of hate. It's normal, I guess, when you're a panty soaker. If you want to be a big reptilian who's strong and hardy, then Tortle has a shell that's AC's a million. So have fun being a hermit immortal. Crichton is just an aquatic elf who evolved south in the continental shelf, and you're basically Aquaman. Fish can understand you know they won't do your laundry just because you demand to. The Vernon, like a goblin, but pretentious. Mind powers that make mystics contentious. Bunch of passive shit. What is this piece? Power? Come back and talk to me when you learn real power. You want T-pure blood like humans, but snaky. Never make a thing with one, I hear they're flaky. Manipulative bunch with magic resistance. Don't take their oral offer, no matter the persistence. Fair human mix is the Kalishtar. Got a lot of mind shit that's really bizarre, like telepathy. Dream protectively, like angels if they couldn't be effectively. The shifters, like a half-lycanthrope with 4 different types with exclusive features. You can't transform, at least not fully, so you often look more like a freakish creature. Civic hybrids are a random fusion of aquatic things, like a squid or a crab. Gain bonuses, depending which ones. You'll have some big pincers for new ways to stab. Warforged, robots forged for war, don't have to eat or sleep or breathe, and what's more is you're tanky as well, being hard to steal. The only downside is you'll never truly feel. Vidalkin tells us no one's perfect, look like Navi people without the long neck. They get lots of bonuses, smart's not shocking. Good luck ever getting one to stop talking. And that's the lot, and always remember class race importance is pretty seldom. Use whatever you fancy, make a chubby fighter dancing. Now you know how to pick your race. You're welcome.
One.
Biggest combo ever made.
Two hits. 2 down. How many guys are left? 1, 2,
It's a little bit more interesting.
4, 5, 6.
A wise man once said magic is dumb and stupid and makes no sense, and I trust that man. He wields a sword and a shield, so why use magic when you can use big brain energy and the power of science? And I know how much nerds love science, so much that they won't shut up about it and one day start making weird advances towards their Texas instrument. Listen, we all have our urges, but seriously, get a server room. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
2 saves.
The last one.
It's about damn time we got another intelligence caster. The status
That's
on his comedy is
done.
for smoke.